When we started in the project, the thing that was being told was that these families don't like professionals, they don't like especially social workers. No, you're going to really struggle for engagement. I think we've crossed that. Now, the second year, we're starting to break that down. Because we're more known now, I think agencies are not seeing us as that threat, but working with us.
People getting to know us because we're in the community. We're walking the streets or we're driving the streets, you know, we wave to them.
I think Cradle to Career is the start of the changes for Wirral. I think they recognise that we need hubs and areas, and for me, I think one of the key factors to that is we're accessible for families. A community spirit is something that people thrive upon, and you can make that changes within the community. But I think it's fantastic. The services that are here, the people that are here are fabulous.
We've got real good relationships now with schools in this area. That's moved a lot from when we started, because if you look from a social care point of view, most of our referrals were from schools. This team and the way we've worked with the schools has stopped that. So, and we're getting in there now before they have to, or feel they have to contact social care to put a referral in.
Just feel like it's been a lot more open, and people have been more open to work together, not work in silo.
I think since Cradle to Career has been working in North Birkenhead, barriers have definitely come down. There probably was a culture, we didn't want social care knocking on the door, and that would include voluntary services as well as us. We're quite welcomed. I think Cradle to Career as a team aren't just level 4 services. We do a lot, and a lot of fun stuff with families, which definitely helps.
I'd say this approach definitely works. It definitely works for families. The families get provided with the right support at the intervention that's needed. I definitely believe this model is the model that is needed across Wirral.
I think working with Cradle to Career has definitely opened my eyes to what a community it really is in North Birkenhead. And I just think that the people who live in North Birkenhead and work in North Birkenhead really genuinely feel like they're just salt of the earth, and it's been such a pleasure being able to be a part of that.
But I just love our kids. I think our kids, lots of them have really difficult lives. They have real challenges, and I just feel sort of privileged and love just being part of their lives and hoping there's something that we do or a setup that makes an impact on them.
My favourite thing about working in North Birkenhead is being able to help influence change and represent the community where I was born and raised.
Knowing that we make a difference to somebody's life, and that can be a small difference, a large difference, and what we get to do is wrap our services around that individual or that family to make a difference.
Everyone is just so welcoming, and it's like one family, without sounding cheesy. Everyone takes care of everyone and knows if there's an issue. The impact that we've had on our young people has been great. So our provision ends at age 14. So we've been able to take that group of young people are on the cusp of age 14 and kind of keep hold of them and say, what do you want, what would benefit you, because we just don't want to lose that relationship. So working with them is that little bit extra. It's been really good.
I've seen a renewed pride in the area. I think with the murals, there's got a lot of residents talking and a lot of residents discussing what the positives are around North Birkenhead. I think the organisations within the area have got a real drive and a passion back to instigate change within the area, and I think by coming together and organisations coming together, there's a more joined up approach.
We've also seen the impact on some of our families, and we've seen the confidence of some of our community members that have come forward for the Seed Fund. It's unbelievable watching them go from coming with an idea that actually when they come in with that idea, they come and go, it's not a feasible idea, it's never going to work. And actually with the work with ourselves, through Cradle to Career, through the Seed Fund process, we're actually seeing them develop, deliver, and then feed back and stand in front of a group of 30, 40 people and talk about that project that they delivered. And that's been really, really quite humbling to see, is the difference that's made to these people's confidence and everybody's sort of personal development across the board.
I started doing baby groups, and through that it's quite harrowing in a way, but we found that on one occasion 9 out of 13 mums, families that were there on one day, had experienced domestic violence. And from that and through talking to the mums, we've created our own mum steering group as to what we think needs to happen. And one young mum in particular came forward and said, you know, she wanted to do a project that was going to support all the mums, and although it's not something we necessarily planned to go into, we wanted to put something together for supporting domestic violence in the community, and we supported her to put her own bid in. And then she is now running a very successful group where I've seen at least half a dozen families. It creates that feeling of a community family. That's definitely something that we've achieved here in a short space in time.
It was absolutely phenomenal to receive a report from Elizabeth Hartley around the difference it's made for families, and actually some of the statistics for North Birkenhead balanced against the wider Wirral, the impact of delivering the way that Cradle to Career is delivering and the MDT team, including the family connectors, is immense, and one that absolutely could be replicated going forward. We've had some amazing results, but it's about actually how do we sustain those results now going forward? How do we keep a motivated team? How do we keep delivering and keep families and children at the forefront of every part of that delivery?
Cradle to Career certainly had an impact on our organisation. It helps us broker conversations and look further afield than what we're doing in the here and now. And I think it's allowed us to really explore what we want to do as an organisation and how we want to move forward. And we're looking very much into year 3 on how we can build our strategy and grow and sustain, really.
The impact that Cradle to Career has had on the Hive has allowed us to be a little bit more focused within a specific area of the Wirral, and allowed us to tailor an offer to make sure that we're meeting the needs of young people within North Birkenhead. Internally, it's given us new ideas, it's given us a little bit of a freshness, and not just to kind of look at North Birkenhead, but how we can reach all young people across the Wirral and the borough.
The Birkenhead North cluster is quite a wide range of schools, 19 schools, and so they're actually enabling 6 schools in a tighter locality to come together has been really beneficial. We've tried to do that on a wide level of 19 schools and in little subgroups, and it's never worked as well as it has done this time. Like, the project just has so much promise, and we desperately need those. I think that will add huge value to the area and to the schools, and specifically obviously to special educational needs children.
Working with Cradle to Career has been really helpful to us. Just one of the many things that they've been able to help us with is, historically we knew that students came into us with a reading age significantly lower than their chronological age, but we never really knew the extent of the problem. But by using the GL assessment and the NGRT tool, we've been able to really dig down deeper and find out exactly how low those reading ages are. And we now have a collective understanding about how important it is to read and what reading can do for students. And I think what has helped with that is also the fact that we have got it right, is that the students' enthusiasm for it, and they're then imparting that knowledge when they go to science. You know, oh, I read that, or I know that because that character did that, or you know, something like that. That's really, really powerful.
I think Cradle to Career gave us the opportunity to develop the family connector model, which is one that, as I say, we would like to expand. So without Cradle to Career, we wouldn't have developed a family connector model. So absolutely, has it helped us gain that knowledge and experience, and also that kind of growth platform for that level of support that's needed.
It's opened doors for us that we would have never been able to do in the past. It's pushed us, it's pushed the staff, it's pushed me especially. So in terms of funding, we never able to offer anything for early years. So the fact that the school readiness workers have come in and done a fab little messy play session, it's been really good because we get to see more families that we wouldn't usually have reached. But it's also made us see what our role is for the future. So with Gorby Road, it's hectic, every single day is different, but you always just take on that thing of the day, or what's happening that week. So to be able to sit back and say, actually we can see what will be happening in 5, possibly even 10 years time, has been really good.
So I've been in this field for a very long time, and there's now a feeling of mutual support and genuine cooperation, genuine hope, rather than competition. For the first time, I think in a long, long time, people are finally starting to work together, and that's going to have the maximum benefit, the maximum output for the community. It's incredible.
I think something that we've done differently, or certainly acknowledged that we have much more of a role in, is being that advocate for our community and recognising our role within that. And Cradle to Career has allowed us to have those challenging conversations.
So it's really changed my view on working closely with other professionals and organisations and leading families so that
we sit on various different steering groups. We work with lots of different organisations in identifying the needs for young people and how we as a collective can support the needs of those young people. And I think moving forward, that will be something that we will endeavour to continue.
We've become and are community-led. The more community involvement you can get, the more ownership from the community, the more buy-in, if you like, the more sustainable things are. But we need to make sure that everybody that uses the services, they are paramount in how it should be run and actually lead in that.
The impact that Cradle to Career has had on me, both personally and professionally, is twofold. I think on a personal level, it's been great to see the difference in like the murals that I've made, to hear the conversations that people have had, but it allows me to feel a sense of pride of what's been achieved so far. I've been fortunate enough to attend training courses that have developed me professionally, and also has helped me look at things a lot differently. And I think professionally, it's always been a driver for me to reach as many young people as we can and to make a real difference in the area that I was born and raised.
So I've really enjoyed the trauma-informed training. It's probably been one of the best training. It was something that I wasn't training. You always come back from it and thinking, okay, let's just go and deliver this with a parent. Whereas this, it was more focused on you and your professional development. And it's just opened my eyes, really. And I think me personally, I've let a lot go on that training. I've been pretty open and I feel a little bit more fresh and a little bit more lighter. And being able to then listen to families and take that load on, because sometimes it gets a little bit heavy for you. But I've learned how to cope now to offload that myself.
it's been so beneficial, I believe, for personally for myself and also professionally to understand the different types of trauma, and actually that we all have our own traumas, and understanding the effect that has on us, and why maybe it leads to certain behaviours and why people do what they do. And it's been, I don't even think I can actually put into words how beneficial it's really been.
Cradle to Career as a process and being part of that has really taught me how to diplomatically have difficult conversations but not shy away from them, because ultimately our aim is to make sure that we achieve for our families and our communities. It's allowed me within this interim role to be able to see not just the issues that people are facing within the area, but the qualities that really do exist and that we actually need to nurture and bring out and really celebrate.
The biggest impact that working with Cradle to Career for me is a kind of personal one, I've got to be honest, because I think I suppose just re-energising me as a leader and thinking we can do stuff here and we can change, because you always try to be determined, resilient and that, but it doesn't always happen. And we certainly feel with the project that you can see those changes happening.
I believe that working in partnership the way it has been with North Birkenhead has really enabled really close relationships between us and families, but also us and other professionals as well, and working that closely has meant we've been able to really work with families as a whole and come in from different angles a lot easier.
Cradle to Career has had a massive impact on how we see the area, especially in terms of other organisations. There was a lot more organisations in the area that we didn't know of, and I think partnership work has developed massively in the area.
I think it's given me a wider platform to meet different people that I probably wouldn't have met in my current position. We probably knew each other, but we hadn't formally met because that platform hadn't been there. It's given that wider platform of information, of partnership working, of looking at possible future collaborations.
It's made everything a lot easier from my perspective, and then also I've been able to meet funders and talk to people and find out what there is, and we've been able to put some of the gaps that we had in our timetable that we wanted to complete. Other organisations have been able to do that for us as well, which is amazing, because as I say, we haven't quite got enough hours of the day or time or capacity, etc., to do everything that we want, but together we can.
Some of the challenges that have come about have been nice challenges where we've been challenged to grow and to develop and really kind of stretch ourselves in terms of what we're able to offer and what we're able to do. We have had some capacity problems where we've needed to find solutions to problems that we previously didn't have, and that's been a massive learning. So I would argue that the challenges that we've had have been positive challenges and have allowed us to kind of grow and develop what we do as an organisation in terms of delivering for young people.
There have been some challenges. I think we've obviously come through a pandemic, which has been really, really difficult. I feel like we're able to get out there a lot more now than what we used to be, and I think that's had an effect on the families maybe coming into us and getting in touch and just knowing more about us, because it's been a real delay to the support.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with Cradle to Career is, certainly I think we found it last year, was almost trying to do too much, and we haven't got enough time and there's not enough resources, and it's wonderfully backed and organised. But obviously we're still there are still limitations in terms of just time. Sometimes we want to do that, but sometimes better just to pick a few things and do them well. And
I would say that there's been, working with Cradle to Career, has been around the community organising contract. We're going through a lot of change at the moment and a bit of uncertainty on where we're going, and actually having that open and honest and frank conversation, but also not being afraid to have difficult conversations, has really took us out of our comfort zone, but in a really reassuring and supportive way. The advice I'd give to any other professionals thinking of the Cradle to Career approach or getting involved in any process like this is do it. Jump in feet first, but be very aware of who you are as an organisation. Be very open about that, don't hide from that, and know what parameters you've got, know what boundaries you've got, and stick within them. But also have that conversation, get to know people. It's an opportunity to build real lasting relationships with partners, with the community, and with Cradle to Career itself.
Work together as much as possible and communicate as much as possible, and just remember that we're all in it for the same reason, and it's always for the benefit of those families.
To be as open-minded and as welcoming and as open as possibly to the changes that you can make within the community.
Go with the partnership work, and it's not all about just what one centre can offer, because we've learnt that working with other centres you can just reach more people, and it's so much more beneficial for the area.
We all come at it at different approaches, and we've all got different practices, and we can share best practice, but I think we've all got something different to bring to the table. So it's time to let go of any competitiveness, it's time to let go of any protectionism, and it's time to share all them ideas, put them all out there and do whatever we can together.
I think definitely that if other professionals, other agencies are looking at mirroring this, it needs an open mind to begin with. And I think allow each other to get to know everybody's roles. You can't be a team unless you understand what everyone can and can't do. We've all got different skills, and to identify what's needed in your area and then roll it out.
The advice I'd give to other professionals is just being open, listening, making sure you're listening to the families that are involved, the community, what's already going. Have a lot of research of what already is in the area, and just having a good plan.
I've loved being a part of Cradle to Career. It's really, I personally as a professional, helped me to grow and just that experience of working with all these amazing people that live in the area has been really wonderful, yeah.
I have thoroughly enjoyed working with Cradle to Career. As like I said earlier, it just invigorates me that we've just got hope because there's good people, lots of good people coming together.
I've thoroughly enjoyed being part of Cradle to Career. It's a project that's obviously close to my heart, so I think that's always going to lend itself to me being kind of enjoying it and wanting to instigate real change.
I have really enjoyed being part of Cradle to Career, and I think the opportunities that it's given me professionally has been fantastic.
I have loved being part of Cradle to Career. I'm immensely proud of not only the family connectors, but going through the interview process and being the chair of the steering group.
I have really enjoyed being part of Cradle to Career. It's been really beneficial for me personally, for Gortby Road, for other centres and organisations to actually work together and achieve something really, really good. So.
Oh, we've absolutely loved being part of Cradle to Career. It's been perfect timing for us too, with starting the community centre and such a big venture at the same time. We've hit the ground running, but Cradle to Career has been a little bit of the air beneath our wings at the risk of sounding a bit too cheesy, but it's given us that extra lift and that involvement that we've needed to bring a lot of our projects to the next level and bring things together and sort of create the big picture, if you like. So yeah, it's amazing.
It's brought people together that wouldn't maybe not necessarily have come together, either on a project or just to find that information out. Working together, we achieve a stronger goal, and for me, that's the heart of Cradle to Career.